Welcome everyone to this new episode of Beyond the Airbrush and the first of this new year, 2026. And it's gonna be an awesome one because today, and I thank him like 1,000 million times, I'm with Myles from Lil Legend Studio. Yeah. Hi, how are you today?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, normally when I come into the office, I'll drink coffee until I'm either anxious or I've got a headache. I haven't got either right now, so you've caught me at a really good time for this interview.
Great. That's nice. For those among you who might not know Lil Legend Studio already, well, that would be surprising, but still, you can find Miles and the studio on Instagram at Lil Legend Studio, and on the side of the screen you have a quick preview of some of the latest posts on Instagram. But there's also Patreon. And I guess that you also have a podcast, maybe, or
Yeah,
something.
a few things. So I've been on the Age of Darkness for about 10 years now, which concentrates on horse heresy. But we are moving into the Scouring era now.
Hmm.
And we also have like this vlogcast thing I do with Max from Barefoot Miniatures
Yeah.
called Hobby Hammer, where it's more of like an informal roundup, talking what we've been up to during the week,
Mhm.
and trying to promote each other as much as possible. Yeah, so there's a few things and a few fires.
Right. But you're one of the, uh, I'm not afraid to say one of the most famous painting studio, at least for the Heresy, but also we're going to talk about that, but not only Heresy. And today we are trying to get to know you a bit. And maybe for starters, can you state the decade you were born?
The decade,
The
the
decade.
80s, the best decade ever, the one where Arnold Schwarzenegger's muscles were pumped up, Sylvester Stallone was murdering people left, right, and center. Yeah, the 80s, the rip roaring 80s.
Right, 100% agree on that. And how did you get into the hobby?
Oh, well, I'm an only child. So I had very indulgent parents, and they were always trying to, whatever I was interested in at the time, they would just indulge me, ludicrously so. Um, and where I live, going into the country's capital, Cardiff,
Mhm.
we'd be driving back, and we always seemed along the high street to stop outside a games workshop. I was about 8, 9 at the time. I remember peering out, and I saw a big, huge robot, red robot, just blasting things left, right, and center. Whenever I drove past, I looked at that sign. It was an open close sign. And I thought, I gotta pop in there one day. I want to see what's inside there.
Mhm.
It turns out it was the Titan Legions, Imperator Titan, that was printed on an open close sign for the shop.
Cool.
So one day I went in with my mother, and it was just complete and utter cerebral overload. Uh, this was during the red period, with the blister packs. You had the army sets on the top shelves. You had Warhammer Second Edition, the Blood Angel pumping a load of rounds into a bunch of orcs below him.
Mhm.
You had the tables, the miniatures, the blister packs, the art. I would have loved to have taken a brain scan of myself before and after going into that shop, because it scrambled me somehow. It's just everything, every kind of endorphin inducing synapse that could be fired in a prepubescent boy, they were hitting those markers. So that was really the start of it. Picked up a start collecting box. In fact, I've bought a new one since.
Mm.
It was the little red painting box
Yeah,
with a Chaos Warrior and a Space Marine inside.
right.
And my mother bought me a box of Imperial Space Marines, which were Ultramarines, but I wanted to paint them as Blood Angels.
Yeah,
The
of course.
red was really calling to me, but my friend pointed out you can't paint them red. They painted blue on the box. So my very first army was Ultramarines because of that. So that's how I got started. Overindulgent parents and an Imperator Titan.
Right. But so maybe I made a mistake on the previous slide because you're from Wales, actually.
I am, yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
sorry. So yeah, my bad. I put, well, actually Wales is in the UK, sure, but I just
It
put
is, yes. We've
yeah.
had wars over this stuff. Yeah,
but
thousands and thousands of units worth of blood spilled over those little micro. Did you say I was English? Oh, that's interview over if you've done that. No, I'm kidding.
so yeah, okay. I will correct that at some point. And
Sure thing.
so, how many years in the hobby? Quite a lot.
Oh God. So it's about 8 or 9. I'm nearly 40 now. So like well over like 30 years in the
Mhm.
hobby.
And-
It's been a pretty consistent thing for me. I didn't have that dip out of
yeah.
university.
Okay.
And because I'm an only child, my parents kept a lot of my stuff in my room. And when I was at university, I was still interested in the hobby. I was still like buying stuff, just not as
Mm.
aggressively as I am now, making the business out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 30-ish years now.
Right. And would you say that so being an easy way to spend our money, um, does the hobby is helps with anything in life in general?
God, well, for me, it certainly helped with my vocabulary very early on. Again, I had these fateful words. I keep remembering this like some kind of like trauma that my mother was buying a Ultramarine Codex for me. It was about £12, and she was a
Mhm.
bit miffed how expensive this book was.
Yeah.
And I told her, I remember these words leaving my lips, that's the only book you'll have to buy, though. I remember saying that to her. And I kind of remember knowing it was a lie when I was saying it as well. But the unusual use of vocabulary, the wide ranging use of words there, because this came from like role playing, and
Mhm.
it was meant for 12 and up. So it was meant for pitch towards a slightly older audience.
Mhm.
So it certainly helped with my reading. I don't know whether it had a knock-on effect because I've gone on to do an English degree and an English master's. So I'm not sure whether it had any kind of like causal effect there. It's certainly like exposing me to, for example, exposed me to the Dark Age
Mm.
and history before I knew what those things were.
Mm.
So when I learned about things like 1066 and the Dark Ages and the Reformation and the medieval period, I could kind of trace the bones, the skeletons from what I've done in Warhammer. Um,
I love that.
it's weird how much it's kind of like framed my life and my understanding as sort of like as a cipher to how I understand and interact with the world.
Yeah.
So it's had a rather profound impact on me. But I guess what you're looking for in a rather more generalized way is, there's a few different things like the mental health benefits of.
Mhm.
Weirdly, this is a very interactive hobby where if you're into the gaming side of things, if you're into playing side of things, it's sociable.
Yeah.
Unlike video games where you may be sat in a room isolated, talking online, you have to physically be here to game and interact. Now, that has positive and negative effects depending on who you're gaming against and who your gaming group is, but still, it's a social hobby. And I think there is something to be said for people doing things together. Now, generally, the people I teach are men, and I would say a disproportionate amount of them are in the armed forces or formerly in the armed forces.
Mhm.
Getting those guys to speak about anything can be a bit of an issue. But you tend to, especially one-on-one sessions,
Yeah.
it can evolve. It can turn into a little bit of a therapy session where they're just talking about their day, talking about the frustrations.
Mm.
So I mean, it's very therapeutic in that regard, in terms of like general mental health. And it's always fun to indulge in a creative hobby as well, right? These guys, the army guys, big, tough, burly dudes, they haven't had a feeling in their entire lives. Like
Mm.
creativity, who's that for?
Yeah.
Like knitting, hobbies. Hobbies are soft. But when it comes to putting together plastic men with little ray guns, it's weirdly how niche they can get and how argumentative they could get. But it's a good thing to argue about. It's a fun thing to
Yeah.
argue about rather than the big scary things that happen in this world right now. So I mean, I'd say this hobby has a lot more positive effects on us, on society, and on the world than say Oh no, I don't want to go too political here. Let's cut that sentence there, shall we?
No, but
Yeah.
you said enough, and yeah, that was pretty deep and very
Oh,
accurate
good.
analysis.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that I love that. And so, what is there something that you love more than anything else regarding the hobby?
Oh God, it's a little bit like being asked what your favorite food is. I mean, it depends on who you are, where you are at the time. Like if I was a 12-year-old, I'd probably say chips. Now steak. You know, it all depends. My favorite thing in the hobby, I guess, in terms of like in game, in lore, in narrative wise,
Mhm.
it is certainly the world of the Horus Heresy. I loved the writing of Alan Bligh, and I was fortunate enough to be involved in the Horus Heresy right at the very outset
Yeah.
of it.
Oh, cool.
Um, One weekender had gone by. Maybe I went to it was either the second or the third weekender I was present at. And you had like such a creative force behind
Mhm.
that studio at that time, the Forgeal
Yeah.
studio with Alan
Mhm.
Bligh, and you had Simon Egan, and you were just drawing on the world's best talents like Alfonso Geraldes,
Mhm.
um, just the most unbelievably talented, passionate people, all working on this project. And the style and the manner in which they managed to execute that project, you know, the granularity of the world, the mysteries they managed to build into it, the presentation from the books, the miniatures, it just felt like a perfect melting pot
Mhm.
of talent and passion, and what we could do with miniatures
Yeah.
at that time.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, again, to like meet people as well. I know it's a bit of a trite thing to say, but I mean, I work here on my own. So
Mhm.
I'm fortunate enough I own this studio. I work here by myself all day, every day. I'm an only child. I do have a family. I have a wife and two kids who keep me very occupied. But you know, when I am here, things like this help break up my day, meeting new people, new walks of lives, um, and just generally talking about this, because it's a lot more accepted today than it was 10,
Yeah.
20 years ago. You
Mhm.
know, geek culture, whatever the hell you want to call it. But, you know, when I'm applying for business grants, or when I'm applying for credit cards for the business, telling people what I do puts a smile on their face,
Mhm.
because I'm not working for the council. You know, I'm not
Yeah.
another accountant. It's like, what do you do for a living? Well, I paint miniatures for a living. Like, you what? And often the follow-up question to that is like,
Yeah.
do you earn enough money doing that? Are you okay? Like, yeah, I'm okay. I live in a very uh, uh, low value area. Like I live in Swansea. Like it's not like I'm living in Bristol or London.
Mhm.
So things are affordable here, just about, just about.
Right. So yeah, that's pretty fun to say that because actually, but I think in England it's pretty different than in the rest of the world because it's the creed of Warhammer and etc. Because in France, for example, if you if you are going to the bank and tell them that you are applying for a loan and that you are
Yeah.
painting toy soldiers, yeah, I think they are going to laugh in your face. So well, but
Yeah.
I really agree about that all this nerdiness that is
Mm.
about the hobby is pretty more socially acceptable nowadays
Mm.
than maybe 20 or 40 years ago, right?
Yeah.
We're just going to have a moment to show some appreciation to this Saturnine Praetor on the side of the screen.
I didn't paint this, by the way. I didn't paint this.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, this is one of my students who does commission work for me. So we'll be talking of this. I think I mean, it would be a perfect time to bring this question in now, right? Like, do I have anybody working underneath me?
yeah. So I'm going to ask a question. So do you work? No, I'm because I had the question asked by a hobby buddy of mine,
Mm.
with Pete from
Mm.
Canada, and
Mm.
I'm going to try to just add the question as he wrote it.
Sure.
So are you a one-man show or do you have employees to do commissions?
So primarily, I'm a one-man show, but I've been teaching students for over 10 years. I've taught some industry-leading lights. I've taught some very famous commission painters, some famous artists, gone on to be artists, award-winning artists. And I've had people undergo the tuition and turn pro. And this is one of them. This is Joe from Joe Paints. And he does commission work for me because he's well-versed in my style. I've been teaching for well over 3 or 4 years now, and he is able to achieve things like this through the tuition. So when I have overspill of jobs, I can outsource that to him. When I get the miniatures, I can give them a little bit of spit shine, a little bit of polish, but nowhere near as much time plowed into this as me painting it start to finish.
Yeah, from
so this is one of it didn't need much work at all for this, but this is one of my students slash orbiting commission painters' work. So we've.
So if I may say so, that's a great way to advertise your tuitions and and teaching skills.
And this is all online as well. This is all online tuition because he lives. He used to live in Manchester. He lives in Birmingham. So coming down to Swansea, it's just not practical. So once, twice a week, we've been meeting up, getting together, going through the fundamentals. Now, this process, it's the culmination of years worth of work. It's not something that just gets done overnight. And we do have tuition slots open now for this. If you look on the Patreon, you'll see some of the higher tiers. We do have a couple of layers now. But if you're going to invest in this, invest in the long haul. Because there'll be some weeks, there'll be some months where you feel like you're not making any progress. You'll be walking backwards. And then all of a sudden, you're painting like this.
And so people can book those lessons on your website and on Patreon, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you could have one-offs. If you're local, you can come here and we will have this whole studio here set up, ready and raring for you. At the end of this month, I'm hosting a conversion course for students. So it's a little bit of a D&D session. So students come along with an idea. I want to sculpt a librarian, for example. We'll go through my extensive bits box and the 3D printed bits I have, maybe for that project. We'll kit bash things together. I'll teach you how to use green stuff. And by the end of that weekend, you will walk away knowing how to green stuff your miniatures and walk away with a badass miniature for your collection.
Yeah, that's a cool angle for a teaching session.
And then next month we're holding an Angron class, which is a lot more ambitious. So in one weekend, we will be painting the Angron miniature, not the demon miniature. We're painting the classic, the smaller classic Angron. Yes, classic Angron, but if you did want to undergo like online tuition, I mean, I've got students all over the world. I work most weekends to accommodate students in America, North America, Australia. So wherever you are in the world, whatever time zone you're on, spaces are open for you.
Okay, so if anyone is interested in those tuitions, feel free to book one with Myles. Maybe not so to not paint that in after one or two sessions, maybe, but after
if you can't paint like that after your first session, I'll fully refund you.
Right. Is there anything that you dislike about the hobby?
Anything I dislike about the hobby? So as a personality, I don't tend to waste my time on things I don't like. I see some content creators, I see some media out there. It seems to be like all of their energy is spent on the things that they dislike about the hobby rather than what they do like about the hobby. So I generally don't tend to, if I don't like something, I'll kind of go like, and I'll move on. You know, I don't tend to linger on it because I'm a busy guy. I just haven't got time to let like recriminations set in. Is there anything I don't like? How expensive it is, probably. Sucks how. And this is like a super niche thing, but paint brands. So I have to be so careful about what paint brands I use in my video tutorials because not everyone will be able to get, I know, dark star paint in Australia or North America. So that's been a little bit, but that's like such a super niche thing. I mean, in terms of some of the other problems people have, like with people or different maybe like ideologies to you. Thankfully, I haven't run up to that too much because I even if I disagree with you, I at least want the conversation with you. I'm always open to talk and chat and understand your point of view. And if it devolves into mudslinging and name calling, like I haven't lost anything, but again, it's just that thing. I shrug my shoulders and I don't have to engage with it anymore. That's it. Yeah, probably expense is my number one gripe with a hobby.
Yeah, as a lot of us, right?
Yeah.
So, speaking of more pleasant things, what is your favorite faction or legion regarding the heresy?
Ooh, right. The Heresy. I'm a bit of a sucker for the Sons of Horus right now. Now, I am. What's up on screen right now? Sons of Horus. Yeah. So the faction I'm most well known for are the Blood Angels, probably. It's how I made a name for myself in Commission Painting Circle. So when I started the Blood Angels, I was a young, plucky commission painter. The Heresy was just taking off. I was taking in a couple of commissions, but I couldn't afford the resin. I couldn't afford the army. So any offshoots of commissions I was dealing with, I'd ask clients, do you mind if I use them in my own projects? And it started to develop from there. And I had the idea, okay, if I create a really, really good army and take it around the local scenes, to tournaments, people will see how good the army is and pay me to paint their stuff. And it would sort of like be a cyclical circle from there. So that was really like my first love, my first passion. But after 3 or 4 years, I'd done everything I wanted to do with them. I said everything I wanted to say with them. And the Sons of Horus were a chance to say something new in the Horus Heresy. It was a chance to go back and collect all of those miniatures I felt like I missed the first time around. So during COVID, I set up a challenge called Return to Istvan. That was quite popular, where I went back and I collected the army of my dreams, a Justarian army led by Abaddon, which I think were the finest miniatures produced in the Heresy range. Love them. So went back, did that, created my perfect, beautiful army. I was very happy with them, and that was my sort of like lockdown project for them. But again, I'm starting to get that feeling that project started to cycle to an end now that I'm looking for new challenges. And I do love the worlds of Warhammer 40k, especially between second through to 5th, 6th edition.
Yeah.
Absolutely love the world of that. And paired with the just outrageously good Black Legion books by Aaron Dembski Bowden, I have started to collect, rather, I'm well into the process. I'm 2 years into the process of collecting a Black Legion army.
Cool.
With a little bit of a spin, because they're all upscale. They're all true scale models.
But with the classic models or the new ones?
Yeah. So it comes to a point in the Heresy where I didn't want to collect another Heresy army. I just needed to do something else. And none of the armies were really inspiring me to get back in and collect something for myself. And I was a little bit sad that the resin miniatures that just leave that. Let me start again. I was a little bit sad that the cycle had started to come to an end with resin miniatures. Everything was being converted into plastic. Yeah. While plastic's amazing, I really like the new plastic Horus Heresy miniatures. Sorry, that's the dog in the background. Especially the tanks and the vehicles.
Yeah.
Riley, behave yourself. But as far as infantry and characters, I didn't feel like it had that granularity. It didn't give me that same rush that I loved from the Horus Heresy. So I decided to embark on a true scaling project. And this is something true scaling was a big thing, especially in 2012, where people wanted to imitate the art style of Space Marines, but in miniature. Because when you compare a Marine against an Imperial Guardsman, there isn't that much difference between them. The scale is slightly off with the miniatures. And you understand the limitations of the scale. You can't downscale the Imperial Guardsman, but I did want to upscale the Marine. So I took a bunch of just staring legs. In fact, I can show you on here. So this is a guy I'm dealing with at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my Chaos Lord.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
He is
the posture. Yeah. Mm.
He's not Huron. A lot of people say he's Huron Blackheart, even though he is constructed with a lot of Huron's bits. So this is the just staring legs. This is a body my friend printed out for me at a slightly wrong scale. It was slightly wrong, but it made the perfect scale for my true scale project. So you can see these are cataphracti legs with different torso. And when you compare them against the Primaris, they're not completely out of scale either. Kind
Not
of
at
low.
all. Yeah, taking into account that's a Terminator. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, okay, that's
So
count.
that's where the Black Legion project really came from. My way to create a very granular, upscaled project, essentially to create Space Marines as good as I remember them being as a kid. Because I had a Black Legion army when I was a kid as well, and that's the army I played with, I guess, the most. I mean, especially during like the 13th Black Crusade when they had the worldwide campaign.
Yeah.
Oh God! And it was just my chance to go back and recreate that army as good as I remember the miniatures being. But then, at the start of this year, we've launched the Scouring Era Challenge because I really, really do love. I do love these new Heresy miniatures, but I don't want to fit them into my old armies because the scale is slightly off. I'm a big believer. Why do the same thing over and over again when you could do something new? And this is my new story. This is the new story I want to be invested in, the Scouring Era. So we launched it in January, or it's still January now. Yeah, very, very basic premise. The Horus Heresy has happened. We're into the Scouring Era, where the founding legions are moving out from Terra to try and wipe out any traitor resistance. And it also opens up the miniature range as well. So you can use, I mean, for example, I'm using the new Terminators mixed in with the Horus Heresy miniatures. I don't have to worry if this mark of armor was appropriate for the Heresy. I could just mix and match whatever. In fact, I've been going back and asset stripping my old Blood Angel army for this because I'll be collecting flesh terrors for this. So the challenge is running until December. It's 1,500 points. So it's a much, much smaller scale than people might be used to in the Heresy, just to help differentiate in people's minds.
No, but that's okay. That's a fine format for a Zone Mortalis game, for example. So yeah, no.
Exactly, yeah. And the aim is to meet up with people who undergo this challenge, complete this challenge in December. But if you can't make it and you still complete the challenge, we will be giving everybody who completes this challenge a lodge coin that I'm having made by a 3D sculptor. Yeah, just as a little thank you. And we are very much heavily emphasizing that you build your army list from the Black Shield rules.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, again, to emphasize that these aren't the legions of old. These are the broken remnants. It's very hard for legions to operate in this new era. So in order to reflect that, we are heavily encouraging people to use the Black Shield rules. But there are, and anybody's welcome, knights, custodies, Imperial Militia or Imperial Guard as they become, Marines, you can use legions, you can use whatever you want. It's more of a springboard for your own creativity.
You see, that's what I said that I was a huge fan is also because of this, because you can, well, we never met before, obviously, but I could tell that behind the Instagram, etc., there was a person who was really in love with the heresy, and that's what I really enjoy about all of this. So that's a very good challenge. Yeah, absolutely, a great idea.
Yeah, I was chatting to a couple of my co-hosts on the Age of Darkness podcast, and none of us really have the appetite to paint 40 Marines again. None of us want to collect legions. So my friend JP, he is collecting Night Lords. but he's collecting it along like second edition 40k principles. He's creating a smaller warband and no doubles across the army. So the aim for him isn't to create, I guess, something that fits in with Horus Heresy 3rd edition. It's to use Horus Heresy 3rd edition as a platform to create the army he wants to. And that's what this challenge is trying to do. And it also opens up more avenues of exploration. I mean, I was just at my local store today picking up some Terminators. Oh, where are you? Oh, what's dropped out of there? Yeah, picking up some Terminators. Now, you can't use these in the Horus Heresy. Indomitus, well, Indomitus are there, I know, but they aren't as widely. And you post this online, you're going to get comment. You're going to get some comment like, "Oh, you can't use them in the Heresy." Oh, Christ, okay. Well, this is the Scouring. It's a little bit looser. You can go a little bit more down your own interpretation routes.
It's fun that you talk about that, because I just did like in December a squad of Imperial Fist Oscars, and I did them with Indomitus models. And those models are just so cool. Why not use those? They are just great models. So yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And I've seen conversions as well of people using like cataphracti arms and bolting bits onto the Indomitus. Now with the new, what do you think about the new cataphracti Terminators, the plastic ones that have been released? Do you like them?
I don't have a strong opinion about either they are better or worse than the previous. I don't have those in. I didn't get a box because I'm not planning to paint more cataphracts. But actually, I kind of love the models, but I love the old ones too. So yeah, I don't have a really.
Yeah, they're a little bit slender for me. I'm not sure whether it's like a perspective thing. I think I need them in hand to have a look around with them and play with them. But I want to show you this because this is such. We're going a little bit off piece here, but this is going to be such a satisfying portion of this video. Okay, so with this new Flesh Tear army, I got Indomitus Terminators. I've printed off these bits from Red Warden.
Yeah.
I haven't tried this yet. Oh, I'm praying it just slots right in. Oh God, how satisfying is that?
That's perfect.
Oh.
Actually, he did, for those who don't know Red Warden, it's Cornivirus, if I'm correct. He's a 3D designer, and he has like tons of stuff. You can find his files on Curl 3D and maybe My Mini Factory. And I got some of his sets for myself in the past, and they are great value for money. And the files are excellent quality and easy to print, etc. So yeah.
Yeah, so that was I always do a test print just to make sure it fits, just to make sure I don't have to do any like editing to it. That was just straight out of the box, pre-supported, bang, works perfectly. So yeah, big recommendation for him.
Yeah, absolutely. So about not maybe the scoring in particular, but do you have a favorite character from the Heresy?
Oh, from the Heresy. Yeah, again, I think we have to like define terms here. My favorite / the most engaging. I think the most engaging personality in the Heresy is Angron. The way he's written, the torment of that character. I mean, before then, before oh God, the Betrayer. He was always seen as a just berserker.
Yeah.
A mindless, idiotic berserker running to and fro, getting into trouble. The nuance that's built into that character, the pain, the anguish of Angron, and his ascension into demonhood, how that was handled. Oh, I don't think there's a better story arc. Maybe Jakatai Khan, suffering so much to get to Terra, holding himself back right up until Warhawk, where he can just become unleashed. Mortarion, he's a very engaging character. I love the discussions online people have with him who don't understand. Like, oh, if he hates Psychers so much, why is he in one? Why is he one? Like, what a hypocrite. But that's why the character is so great.
Exactly.
when you look at people's lives, how we act, what we do versus what we say, we're all a jumble of contradictions, right? We're all hypocrites in our own way, and for the writers to pick up on that and express it in these novels, essentially making Mortarion the junkie with the warp. But as far as like my favorite character goes, probably Sanguinius.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite, if I was going to buy like any merch from any of the Primarchs, it would probably be him.
A
But as
Sanguinius
far as like
t-shirt, right?
yeah, Sanguinius t-shirt, or maybe like do a little teardrop eye. Yeah, I mean, God, especially after his rendition in what's the Siege of Terror book he's in? Echoes of Eternity. After his characterization, his speech, the storyline in that, I'd say he's my favorite character, but the most engaging, the one I enjoy reading about the most, probably Angron. Yeah.
Right. And do you have a specific favorite piece of lore from the Heresy? A battle or specific scene?
Specific. I mean, the Heresy is just like a jumble of really amazing scenes. Okay, I guess the first one that really strikes me is in Horus Rising, and the poet, the drunk poet, who's stumbling around a battlefield, and he manages to slip the cordon, and he goes out into the streets, and he manages to pay for a drink, and he gets beaten up by soldiers later on. I think it's a weird one to say, but I mean, I think a lot of people miss the ideology that goes into the crusade. It might be because I'm British. It really just speaks out to me of manifest destiny, that you have the right to rule others. And because you have a more powerful, ideology, a more powerful weapon system, you could just simply overwhelm those around you and fold them into an empire. And I think the reason why he's struggling with his own creativity and why he can't write verses like he used to is because he's trying to force himself to produce propaganda rather than speak from the soul, speak from that area of an artist that really has that spark, that muse. And I don't think that level of introspection is really mirrored in other places throughout the Heresy. So I think it's a smaller moment, it's a quieter moment, but I recently went back and started to reread the Heresy, and that moment really struck me as something that maybe goes beyond the bolter porn fiction that we all love, and it's trying to say something, it's touching on something. It's so weirdly it would probably be that as a moment, but as far as like the blood pumping bolter porn action side of things, I've just finished rereading in Saturnine, and the scene of Camba Diaz striking a line in the sand, no more forward, back, and the way that's written, the way that's constructed, the thought processes that went into that, probably those two really stand out to me amongst a just sea of amazing scenes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this one I read Saturnine not long ago, and actually this one with Cambadias was one of the reasons that led me to do some Imperial Fist at last. And
good.
That's a good. Yeah, I had only traitors policy, and then
Okay, and then that.
yeah, I had to got over that policy and overread it, but that's two great scenes actually, and an interesting take, above the usual bolter porn scenes that we all love, obviously, but that's there's more to the, how do you say that in English? There's more to the eye that you can see at first reading. And
Yeah. I mean, especially the construction of the early heresy, what it tried to do with the imperial truth and how why the crusade was formed in the first place, the ideological underpinnings of it, and it's very much a reflection of manifest destiny and the imperialist, colonialist British point of view. I mean, and then much later on in Sat9, I love the way that book's constructed. I'm a big lover of postmodernism art and writing, and you can see threads of that right the way throughout, from the way it's written, the construction of it, sentence construction, even things like how the story is told to you from first person through lists through. Yeah, I could go on all day about this stuff. Yeah, so look, there's a very good book, Saturnine.
Yeah, pretty awesome. So now we are going to talk a bit more about the painting itself. So, yeah, as you are a commission painter, or maybe for yourself, do you have a specific process before getting into a new? Well, I wrote an army project, but let's say a painting project.
Okay, say you're my client. Say you want to get commission from me. So normally it starts, you send a message to me. Hey, Myles, I have this. What's the price? So then I'll get you to send me everything that you want painted, every little bit and piece, just to create like a nice holistic list. Because I find like you'll be like, oh, and then I wanted to add this. And then, so the emphasis is very much on you. Just tell me everything you want. I create a quote. I send that over to you. And more often than not, I was like, oh, I don't like this. I want to take this out. Or like, oh, I want this instead. And we'll work on the quote until we're both happy. A deposit is then normally paid. If it's a single piece project, it's normally a 50% commission a deposit. If it's larger, we work in installments. But then we set up one-to-one once the deposit has been paid. And then we'll go through the process, the nitty-gritty of what you want out of this commission. We'll go through a complete and utter, I guess, like overhaul of your project, the themes, the things you like, the things you don't like, specific colors, that kind of thing. And it gives you an impression of who I am as well. Because more often than not, you've just sent a lot of money to somebody across the other side of the world. You have no idea who I am. So it just gives you a chance to get to know me a little bit, get to know the process, how we go about constructing commissions and the kind of timelines involved in that. Then we run off, we do the work, send you regular updates just to make sure you're happy with the progress of the project. In that time, there might be a couple of edits, like, oh, you need to do the eye lens is yellow. Okay, I could do that. And then by the end of the project, you'll end up with something that you love and will keep forever. And we don't tend to do, I guess, like meta chasing armies or armies that you just want to get painted to just spunk out. We tend to work with clients who want that forever army, that want a super bespoke high-end service on miniatures that they will love for the rest of their lives. That's what we tend to special, and that's what I enjoy painting. So when you contract us as an artist, for example, we don't work on an hour rate. We don't have levels of commissions. Not like, oh, we get infantry here and characters here. We'll work as if the project is our own project. So if we need to like 3D print out a head because we think it will be really awesome, we'll do that. If we add that extra highlight to a miniature, we will if it makes the project spark. So that's why when you contract us, you're not contracting a traditional commission painter. You're contracting an artist looking to express something.
And actually, that shows, well, I mean, when you share some of your commission projects, you can see that it's not just slapping paints slapping paints on models, but there's a bit of soul behind it. It's not just,
Well, it's just not my personality. I learned that because I tried to go down that route, offering levels and then work into an hourly rate. It sucked the joy out of it, and it reflected in the work. It's a very rare place I occupy in the commission painting world. I'm very, very aware of that, how lucky I am. And it's taken over 10 years to get to this space in order to meet the kind of clients that are able to do that. But we were able to produce work that I don't think is like en masse armies and individuals that's really matched in the commission painting space.
Yeah. To my knowledge, I never saw something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is really like how deep you can go into defining a project. And where I absolutely agree with you is for these jobs, like artistic and intellectual professions, yeah, working on a hourly fee isn't very appropriate because actually what matters is the outcome of it, like
Yeah.
the deliverables. Is that
Yeah.
if you like the army, you like your army, that's it. And maybe you have painted that for 2 weeks or 2 hours, and but
Yeah.
the outcome is that you like it. So anyway, the time you spent on it didn't really matter in the end.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you have time to enjoy the game, the Heresy?
No, not so much the game. I live in Swansea, and I have a young family. So I have a wife, 2 children, a 7-year-old, a 3-year-old.
Oh.
If I'm not here working, I'm back home trying to wrangle them into some kind of order. I do work more than I should, being a small business owner. It's just part and parcel of my job that I will need to work in my evenings. I sometimes have to miss events. It's just, I get a lot of advantages doing what I do. The ability, say over Christmas, the ability to just take time off when I need to go and watch my children's school plays. I don't have to ask any permission. I can do my own holidays. That freedom comes with the price that sometimes I'll have to work late. In the run up to Christmas, for example, is a very pressurized time. I'll just need to. So there's give and take, like with any job. It's just my disadvantages aren't as big as other people's, and the freedom I gain off doing that more than offsets that. So no, I just simply haven't got the time to enjoy the game that much. I enjoy it vicariously through Joe at the beginning, through Lawrence, another painter, and Max, who runs his own gaming YouTube channel. So I constantly have barefoot miniatures on in the background, just to enjoy a little bit of the game aspect of it. But no, I just simply don't have the time.
Right. And do you have maybe some well, actually, maybe not in your whereabouts, but so your Heresy community is mostly online with your your Heresy friends are
There's
not in your area.
there's a big community in Cardiff that I know
Okay.
of, because Firestorm Games is there. It's a huge gaming destination in the UK. Gorgeous. Lots of tables in there, lots of different game systems. A store in Swansea has just moved premises, and it's moved into a much nicer area with way better tables and facilities there. So I'm praying there'll be some kind of a generation coming through in the Heresy there. Yeah, it's Cardiff and hopefully here soon.
Right. And maybe in your younger days, when you were playing that black, that Chaos Space Marine army,
Yeah.
did you ever throw a metal mini at your opponent?
I didn't. No, I tipped them over on accident. No, I never threw a miniature
No.
at somebody. No,
All
I mean
right.
a dreadnought. I think would kill someone if you catch it like on the side of the temple.
Yeah, I think that might that might do some damages.
Yeah.
Just a word about this Coswain on the side of the screen. Uh, I love, well, actually, a lot of us agree that painting black armor is pretty difficult to make it
Yeah.
interesting. And this one is really cool. I love like the contrast with the more exposed areas and the crevices. It's yeah, an awesome one.
Yeah, so the on the podcast, Age of Darkness, my segment is painting black and other colors, because for most of the legions and most of the heresy, I found when I was starting to do the segments, I was painting black. I was talking about painting black every single week. Yeah, it certainly comes with its own challenges. And painting a Black Legion force, you have to get really, really good at painting black.
Mm.
But what I tend to find is if you can think of black as a backdrop to then frame other colors on. So, for example, Corswain,
Yeah.
the Dark Angels are very well known for like the red livery that they have. So by having black as the backdrop, and with this piece in particular, I've used a little bit of blue in the undertones of the armor. So then you can start playing with the color wheel a little bit. So, okay, blue, what's on the opposite of the color wheel to blue? Oh, yellow, okay. So maybe the bone ivory tabards can keep a little bit of yellow in there. And what, okay, so I'm working in a traditional triad then. So we have red, yellow, blue, red, bang, Islanders got a lot of OSL effects
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
whatever you mix in with your black to highlight it, you can use that as a key to start pairing colors off from.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, and this piece, by the way, the full tutorial for this is available online right now via the Patreon. All the links are on the website, so if you don't want to search through it, just go on the website. It's all there. As well as, God, we have a PDF for every single Legion. We have video tutorials for every single Legion. We have video tutorials for most of the characters that have been released and most of the Primarchs. I do know that we do have 2 Primarch tutorials for Lionel Johnson on there, a PDF and this bad boy, as well as a infantry painting tutorial. So the Dark Angels are very well represented on the Patreon.
Yeah, you can find all those links below the video in the
Well,
description.
thank you.
Yeah. So, speaking a bit more in depth about how you paint, maybe for starters, how would you describe your painting style?
Oh my lord. So I don't, because I don't like working to I don't like being boxed in as one thing. I like trying a multiplicity of different things to suit the job. So because most of what I deal with is Horus Heresy, I do lean towards more militaristic scale painting techniques, which I guess is sort of like being co-opted by the term of grimdark. But I don't think I necessarily fit traditional grimdark painters, because I think grimdark can be an excuse in some areas, maybe to be a little bit more slapdash with your presentation and maybe not as refined as you could be.
Yeah.
I take elements of military scale modeling techniques and bring them into a more like fantasy-esque miniature, so you can combine them with like OSL, big bold colors, demon gribbly things. Ultimately, what I'm trying to do is give the viewer the experience of stepping into that world. So when you see my Space Marine, you aren't seeing a well-painted miniature. And sometimes, when I paint miniatures, I'll sacrifice technique for immersion. So I'm not painting as well as I could, but I'm painting it to give the impression of what this character is at this time. I want you, when you walk into this universe, to look up and see what I'm painting. And it does revolve very heavily around volumetric lighting. So the expression of shapes on a miniature. So we go back to this guy, for example, like the thigh plate, for example, the highlight on the top there. Each and every one of these shapes has been rendered in context with my light source. And because there's quite a lot of darkness under you, I've added another light source here to play off against it. I try to make the textures as realistic as possible. So there is a heavy use of real life reference work brought into the work, and an overall like grit and granularity. So I have a phrase that when you see my work, I want you to feel like you can see the grit underneath your fingernails.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice summary of it. But actually, well, yeah, I'm far from being a talented painter myself. But the thing is, yeah, you can tell when you look at your paint jobs that there's a grimdark feel, but there's so much more to it. It's well, it's there's an artistic touch that I can't really define or explain, but in my eyes, like if we look at this dreadnought, and not even talking about the freehand with
Yeah.
the saints, the inspired from the Catholic icons, but the shoulders, the knees, and etc.
Mm.
There's there's something. It's not just like, a nice gradient with an airbrush. It's much more than
Mm.
that, and that's
Yeah.
what I really enjoy. But at the same time, you can tell there's a kind of grit. It's it's the weathering is really subtle, but you can tell if you look at the one of the upper claws of the siege claw of the dreadnought. There's something on the metallics. It's not moss. It's not like rust. It's in between maybe, and it's
Mm.
really feel like it's yeah, it's very
So this
realistic.
this is a really good example to explain, I guess, my outlook on miniature painting. So
Hmm.
when I free-handed the saints
Hmm.
on the sides of the vehicle, it looked too bright. It looked too clean. So
Mm.
when we often view pictures, images, paintings of this era,
Yeah.
they have a heavy layer of varnish over the top, and that varnish is yellowed over
Mhm.
time. So after I painted this, I took the decision to then use like a sepia brown ink,
Yeah.
very thin glazes with a brush, and put it over the top. Now
Mm.
this did reduce the finish of it, but it gave a much more authentic
Yeah.
story.
Mm.
It gave an authentic vision of what you would be seeing. So I wasn't aiming to produce the best painted miniature that I could. I was trying to create the most realistic story
Mm.
that I could with this piece.
Yeah. So yeah, that's yeah, I don't really have the words to describe it, but that's immersive, that's
Yeah.
narrative, that's beautiful, obviously.
You
And
know, I think it was Ginsberg who said "kill your darlings." So I think this is a very much a representation of that "kill your darlings."
right. Is there a specific technique that you are using on a regular basis that you are still finding quite hard to use or to do?
Oh, hard, yeah. So it's been my experience with students. Some people will pick up some techniques easier than others.
Mm. Right.
For whatever reason, I can't do loaded brush, or
Ah.
rather, when I do it, it's not as well refined as I want it to be, and I keep having to do it over and over again. Yeah, loaded brush for me is just been one of those techniques that's never really clicked, and it hasn't like become part of my lexicon of miniature painting.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's that's the hang up that I keep getting. Yeah.
Um, is there something that you would improve or try, learn as a, I don't know, techniques or painting styles?
It's so I mean, who can get better in
Yeah,
non-metallic,
sure.
right? Non-metallic is one of those techniques like learning how to play chess. Learning how to play chess is relatively easy. Like I understand how the bits move,
Yeah.
but then being able to master chess is a completely different ball game.
Mm.
And that's where I feel like I am with my own non-metallic work. That I understand the
Right.
principles. I got okay recipes, pretty good like renditions of it. But when you look at the master's work, you're always trying to seek towards that. You're always trying to get to that island you're currently not on.
I can get that.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite color to paint?
Oh, again, like, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite? What's your favorite color? It changes. Right now, I am going through a bit of an indigo phase. I'm a bit of a sucker. So I've gone through a magenta phase. I've gone through an inky darkness phase. But indigo at the moment, it just feels like it's endlessly fascinating for me, and the color combinations and yeah, everything you could do with it. I'm really enjoying indigo right now.
You might want to have a look, well, maybe you already did, to what we call indigo cloves from Western Africa. You can find indigo cloves from
Oh.
mostly Mali and Senegal, and the colors are like and dyed with
Mm.
natural pigments, and you have even if when you look at the piece of clothes, you can see the difference or the color shifting with the light. It's yeah, those piece of clothes are
Right.
magnificent.
Okay. No, I'll check that out after this.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, that's
but
another rabbit hole to go down.
but if you ever get a piece of that clothes for yourself, don't ever wash it in the washing machine with something else, because it will spill over.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Does that come
I
from personal experience?
yeah I did that.
Shit.
Yeah. My wife is still talking about that someday.
Oopsie daisy.
Um, is there a color that you really avoid to paint at all costs?
Um, this is weirdly that only really comes up when I'm buying paints, and I
Mm,
did. So normally I'll just buy like a whole set of
mm,
paints now. But when I first started commission painting, I was buying a lot of reds, a lot of blues, a lot of yellows. I tended to stay away from greens in the
okay.
beginning for whatever reason. Yeah, greens was just something I tend to avoid, and I don't know why. It's not like it's a conscious choice. And whenever I do go for green, it does tend to be like a green blue, so it leans more
Mm.
towards the blue side of the spectrum rather than the yellows. Um, or it jumps right over to turquoise
Yeah,
and just leaps over green. Yeah, green just tends to be something I don't tend to vibe with that much, and I don't tend to use blue that much in my work either. Apart from like OSL effects,
mm,
I very rarely paint like blue armored marines. Well, since the Ultramarine Commission. But yeah, green I don't tend to bring into my painting that
in your
often. No
regular
idea
palette.
why.
Mm, right. What is your ongoing painting project, or maybe an ongoing commission? So your personal ongoing project is are those uh,
Black Legion,
Black
yes,
Legion Marines?
yeah. But for commission work, I've recently, rather lucky, a client has commissioned each of the chapter masters being released through Games Workshop.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Darnath Lysander,
Mm-hmm.
we have a custom made Khan,
Mm. Ah, with yeah, the Black Shield mini
Indrid
Black
Haas.
and
Yeah,
house. Yeah.
gorgeous. I've just recently completed this.
Oh yeah, this new Ravengard is pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. Mm.
What else have I got? Just done this, the Phoenix Lord.
Oh yeah, the Spectral Spider. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of soft details on this, lots and lots of
Mm.
soft details. But the thing I'm currently working on, the nearly complete Grimnar.
Ah. Oh
What
yeah.
a gorgeous miniature this is.
Mm.
What utterly gorgeous miniature this is. This is one of those pieces I could just paint all day, every day.
Yeah.
Because the sculptor knew when to let you speak.
Mm.
It's not clustered with detail. It's not trying to show off. This miniature is trying to, as faithfully as possible, tell the story of Grimnar.
Mm.
I think it was Darren Latham who sculpted. Just did such a spectacular job because it left you so many like nice negative areas to
Mm.
develop volumetric shades and do like little bits of weathering, and you can have that pinprick of an awesome color as well. Yeah, it's outstanding miniatures. So as far as like big commissions at the moment, we are doing a huge Space Wolf army for the
Okay.
same client, all the special characters, um, and we are theming it around Bran Redmore's Great Company.
Mm-hmm.
And we developed a storyline with the client that Bran Redmore, he's gone off the deep end. So for those who don't know, Bran Redmore is a character often associated with the Wolfen. So he's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like half wolf, half man, and he's known as a berserker. He's known as a loose cannon. And this character has decided to drive a significant amount of Space Wolf assets into an area of Imperial space that has been lost to Tyranid threats. So the entire area has been cordoned off. It's just a write-off, this area of space. So why on earth has Bran Redmore taken significant chapter assets there for because he's just gone crazy? So the storyline will revolve around Logan Grimnar taking his grand company and a company of heroes into that hellscape to extract Bran Redmore and ultimately decide whether he is worth saving or not at the stage. So we've made Bran Redmore. We are doing the Wolf Lords with a much more wolfen lean to them, and everything is going to be built around that amazing color scheme of like the red. We're going to change the color scheme ever so slightly because all the art depictions have a very like neat painted red. But we thought it would be really cool if before the battle, like the Wolf God leader would pick up like a bloody rag. And if he recognizes the curse of the wolf in you, he'd smash that against your helm. So the blood more is going to be a lot more visceral, a lot more bloody on them. So that's a major commission that we're dealing with. Alongside a lot of individual units, we're dealing with a Death Guard commission. I'm just looking over the pile behind you. That I guess is the most significant one we are dealing with right at this second.
Right. And once you will be done with those Black Legion Marines, do you have already a future project, or maybe not already?
So the Black Legions are more of a long form project. So when I moved into the studio, it was about 2 years ago now. I bought this place. I took the plunge. I thought, like a goldfish, I needed a bigger bowl to expand into. But I mean, any year in business is the worst year, it's the hardest year. And moving into a new facility, the extra expenses, the bills, the rhythms of life, because I've been working from my home for 10 years. So to move out and into a new building, and like the expense of the tables, the chair, and we're lucky to be sponsored by Redgrass Games. So big thank you to Redgrass Games, because they've outfitted the studio with lights for everyone here. And it came to the end of the financial year. I was worried about how much tax I'd have to pay, whether I needed more loans just to see the business afloat. It was just such a pressurized, stressful period of my life. And it found expression in this Black Legion project, because it's a project I collected as a kid. I wanted to go back to the familiarity of that. And each piece, so for example, I mix non-metallic metal or true metallic metal with them. So the shoulder pads are done in true metallic metal and everything else is done in non-metallic. That gives the true metallic much more visual of a pop. And it kind of leads into the feel of them being black and gold. So if I get the black right and the gold right, it all comes together. So there's no real time limit on how long the Black Legion project will go on for. That's sort of like my indefinite forever project, it feels like. But the next sort of like army painting project that will go through slightly more of like a systematized process is the Flesh Terrors, that 1,500 point scouring army for myself.
For this year, before
December. That's the challenge. I do have a really bad habit of launching these challenges after 2 or 3 months. I mean, I'm looking at a Warrior of Chaos army. I'm looking at a Badab project that never received even one miniature from it. But I'm feeling a lot more optimistic about the Flesh Terrors, because this seems to have like caught something in people's imaginations, especially the Heresy crowd, who maybe are looking for something different, something new to look into. We love these new kits. We love the early Warhammer 40k lore, and the Scouring era just seems like a natural progression. You can look into the second foundings and like some of the irregularities that pop up there as well, and they're like project paperclip style compromises you need to make. Say like with the Kakaradons, the Space Sharks, who their first chapter master is known as the Great Unspeakable One, or the Great Nameless One. Now, why is that? Could it maybe be Sevatar that's leading them? Who knows?
Yeah. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So this period of time has a lot of just really funky lore to explore, and it's over a much wider period of time as well. So the original Scouring took place over 7 years, but with subsequent retcons and rewritings, that's gone from 7 years to 100 to 150 years. So we have 150 years worth of time to play around with. You have the rise of the Inquisition and all of the gnarly stuff they get up to. We have the retreat of the traitor legions, because I'm sure their first thought wouldn't have been, let's dive straight headlong into the Eye of Terror. You have Perturabo making the Empire of Iron that gets dug out by Dawn and then Gilliman. You have Fulgrim and whatever the hell it is he's doing, Alpha Legion. And that's not even including the second founding chapters and I guess like the birth spasms and the political upheaval that would... Grey Knights, Inquisition, because the Inquisition sequestered all of the traitor gene seed at Vaults of Terror. Now, do you think an organization that young, that powerless in comparison to things like the Martian factions, the Officio Assassinorum, the Astartes, wouldn't be tempted to create their own super soldiers?
Yeah, I can tell you have some passion about that. Yeah. That's very cool. But actually, yeah, that's typical of Games Workshop. I mean, to go back and forth about the lore, etc. But I mean, we know the setting. We just have to embrace it, and we can do what we want with it. So yeah,
and explore it. It was set up as a sandbox. It was set up as a narrative. It wasn't like a single narrative. It was lots of different threads. It was a jumble. Like history is just a jumble of stuff that happens. And it's down to you to explore aspects of it that appeal to you.
Exactly. Is there a model that you are most proud of, or the model with which you are the most satisfied with? Is there one?
I mean, Abaddon is a pretty good one that you just posted up.
Yeah.
So more so because this felt like a collaboration. So Wilf, the sculptor of this, from Diverging Realms, he's been a friend of mine for donkey's years. We bonded very early on over our love of Blood Angels.
Okay.
And we both collected Blood Angel armies, and Wilf went off and he decided to master 3D sculpting. And the guy is a master sculptor right now.
Yeah, no doubt about that. He's one of the greatest. Yeah.
And this model actually came about because his friend was bragging about getting a scan of the Abaddon miniature by Forge World.
Yeah.
And Wilf was so pissed off with this reaction, he decided to sculpt his own. And Wilf being a friend, getting his sculpt, such an exceptional sculpt. And I think I've apologized to him already, but whenever I get a miniature, I always tinker with it. I can never just get a miniature and just leave it as it is. So this combines bits of Horus Ascended's cloak, and I did find another 3D sculptor of Abaddon. The name, I'm blanking on the name of the sculptor, but I managed to get that head, shrink it down, and put it on this piece. So it's a collaboration between many different artists, and then put in my own, I guess, overlay my own vision of what they produced on top. So that is a rather satisfying miniature. But I'm not sure whether you've got it keyed up or whether you've got the miniature. But the Abaddon I painted for 40K.
This one?
No, there's a different one with non-metallic armor.
I don't think I picked it up. Let me see. No.
Look, see.
No.
No, that's okay. Well, so that's probably my favorite at the moment, because that was commissioned by me for DMS, and we spent about 6 months just going back and forth over details. And I have to say, that guy has the patience of a saint, because I was asking for micro changes, lengthening of claws, just tiny, insignificant things that would drive me wild as an artist. But he did everything with such good grace and aplomb and professionalism. And the end result was like nothing else I've seen. Hold on, I've printed one off, another one for myself. I'll bring it up on screen now. There we go. Okay, so this is the Abaddon I had sculpted by DMS Minis. This
Yeah.
gorgeous, gorgeous piece of work, very heavily inspired by the second edition artwork and miniature sculpt. There you go. I've got, so it's not ideal, but I got the
Oh.
Instagram post here.
Oh, okay.
So this is the piece. A few details on this. So we did want it to very closely resemble the original artwork developed for this character, especially like the front cover of the second edition artwork. There's a huge nuclear explosion behind it. Some of the details on here, we have a Cadian head, because of course they messed up Cadia, they blew up Cadia. So it seemed only appropriate to have something on the spike rack. We have a Templar symbol here from his fight with the Black Templars and killing Sigismund. Probably have like a red helmet on here, a blood angel to represent the massacre at Macan. But this, I think, is my proudest influence on this project. So we've got Drachnine, the sword that Abaddon wields. Now this is based on the artwork for the Warp that's in the outer cover, the special editions of the Black Legion books.
Okay.
Yeah, so we wanted like the smiling demon faces. We wanted to mirror those images on the blade. But another really cool detail of this sculpt is that on both sides of the hilt of the blade, on one side it's a crying face, on the other side it's an angry face. So yeah, Drachnine is the end of empires, and each demon has been created by some kind of atrocity committed in real space. And it's mirrored in the Warp, and it coalesces into some kind of consciousness. And this demon weapon is so powerful because it is a reflection of the first murder, Cain and Abel, or whatever mythology you want to subscribe to. So on one side of the blade, we have the angry face, we have Cain, wrath. And on the other side, we have the crying face, the victim. So, and this is all like these are all the details I put DMS through during the construction of this miniature that he dealt with just so effortlessly and so well. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about that sculpt. I mean, he really made this project.
I mean, we talked about Red Warden, we talked about Wolf, we are talking about DMS, Damza. Those guys are, very talented 3D designers, and also, well, I don't know them personally, but they sound like they are very passionate about the heresy, and what they did to increase the range of available bits and models. Well, some of those now exist as official models, was incredible back in the days, because they really filled the gap in the official range. And yeah, sure, you could always kit bash something with plastic bits, green stuff or something, but I mean, not everyone can do that, and those guys, they did, and they are still doing an awesome job to serve the hobby. So yeah, props to kudos to them. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's a little bit of hero worship on my part as well, because you grew up with sculptors like Brian Nelson and Jez Goodwin. I just wish I could have had these kind of conversations with those guys, and now I get to have conversations with the most passionate, articulate, driven, talented people working in our industry today, who aren't inhibited by maybe like a design echelon above them. They don't have to worry about like a system, but if they're passionate about a project, they can pursue it, and they can realize their vision. And I think they end up with much stronger end results because of that. And I get to chat with them as well. I get to not only talk to them online and conversations, but through the miniatures. People describe painting miniatures as a conversation, because we don't get to choose our canvas. Well, up to a certain degree we do. I like painting Space Marines. I'm going to choose that. That's my canvas. But that's been created by somebody else. That is the effort of the creation of somebody else's personality and drives and ambitions that you can then interact with. And it becomes like a two-way conversation, that when you paint that piece, changing aspects of it, reflecting others, enhancing bits. Yeah, it's just such a pleasure to not only be able to paint these people's work, but to chat with them afterwards as well.
Mm. It's fun because it reminds me of what my dad used to tell me about his former job. Actually, back in the days, in the mid 70s to the late 80s, he was a rock journalist. So
Oh,
he,
really?
yeah,
Okay.
and
That's an awesome job.
so he spent a lot of time in London during the punk explosion, etc. And he
Wow.
always told me that back in those days, it was just as easy as entering or going to the bar in front of the music recording, say the music label, and just you know you were going to find, I don't know, any of the the rock star or punk star of this era, and just you could chat with them, just
Yeah.
going to gigs with them, etc. Yeah, I mean, he had tons of stories about all the stuff he did with I don't know, the guys from AC/DC, the guys from the Sex Pistols, etc. Well,
Oh my
and
God.
but I feel that today the hobby itself is kind like back in those days for rock music, in the sense that you can, well, if the most of the time, if you want to ask a question to a 3D designer, to even a painter, even a professional painter, you just have to shoot them an email or
Yeah.
a message on Instagram, and people are going to answer. And just as easy as if you if you were in at the pub, you know, and engaging in conversations with passionate people is just easy as I don't know, crossing the street, and that's
Mhm.
very very cool because we are dealing with some high level artistry, if I may say
Yeah.
so, and
Yeah.
uh,
I agree.
like of as today. I mean,
Yeah.
I sent you an email asking, yeah, hello, I'm Jay, I'm doing an interview
Yeah.
series about people, etc. And then you just answered me like,
Yeah.
yeah, we might do,
I
we
mean,
might do that.
we didn't know each other. We weren't introduced. You just shot a message and like, can I interview? I was like, yeah, sure.
And
Let's do it.
so, yeah, that's very nice and very enjoyable. Is there a model that you really, really don't want to paint ever again?
uh, um, there's a couple. So the Dreadnought drop pod, the original Dreadnought drop pod, because constructing that thing was awful.
Hmm.
Because the hinges, these huge, like thick resin doors, when they open, they were held together by this very thin piece of resin, and they'd always snap.
Mm,
And uh, whenever I paint something, I need to think, how will it be transported?
mm,
Because most of the work that I do gets sent all around the world.
mm,
So it needs to be durable enough to survive whatever the postage does to it. Without fail, every single one of those that I sent out was smashed into a million pieces. I don't
mm.
think a single one managed to. Um, Weirdly, from the more modern ranges, the uh, plastic Angron miniature, the Demon Angron
Yeah.
miniature, I really didn't enjoy that project.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether it's something to do with like my frame of mind at the time, because that could influence work as well. Like if I'm pissed off that day, or if like I'm
Yeah.
tired, or if I'm sleepy, or I'm stressed out, it reflects in the work, and my enjoyment of it is impaired by it. But that miniature didn't feel like it had much of a soul to it. It felt
Mm,
like it was a just felt like it was put together with a lot of like already available assets
mm,
in the simulacrum of what Angron should be, like the caricature of Angron. And I really, really didn't. That could be just a completely mischaracterization of the miniature. I know other people have done it and enjoyed it. Just for me, I
mm.
really, really did not like painting that miniature. I'm so happy we get Simon Egan's version of Demon Angron, because that looks a billion times better.
Yeah.
Again, I'm making a lot of value judgment and calls here, but for me, that's a lot more engaging of a project. That feels like it's a product of an artist with
Mhm.
something to say.
Yeah. But it's actually, well, I never had those minis myself, but I think
Mm.
it's a bit the same with the Fulgrim, the one from 40K and the one from
Mm.
30K. The
Mm.
one from 40K looks a bit goofy. Well, even I think it's yeah, I forgot his name, but the painter for Tabletop Tactics, maybe he
Oh,
did.
Fletcher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did something amazing with the face
Mhm. Yeah.
at the time.
Like
But
the flayed face to it. Yeah.
yeah, it's disgustingly great.
Yeah.
But it's disgusting, but great at the same
Yeah.
time. But yeah. Um, is there a model that you are dreaming to paint but didn't have the chains, didn't have the chains to paint it yet?
It's the old Metal Thunderhawk,
Oh,
1999 Metal Thunderhawk. Yeah. Now, thankfully, somebody out there in the ether has made a one-to-one replica
yeah,
of that miniature as an STL file.
yeah.
And my Christmas project was trying to print that thing out. I've had a couple of failures along the way, and I don't have any intentions on painting it like
Mhm.
immediately in the immediate future. It might take me a couple of years to get around to that, but I think in terms of nostalgia, what that miniature represents, the lust I had for that miniature, and I'm fortunate enough to own the actual
Mhm.
metal Thunderhawk, like with the wooden box. I bought it before like the mania for
Mhm.
collectors really took off. I bought it like in 2009,
Yeah.
10-ish.
Mhm.
I bought it from an American guy for £500. That
Oh,
included shipping to me. Yeah,
that's a
A-
bargain.
absolute steal. Like
Mhm.
everything, like I've double checked it, triple checked it just to make sure
Yeah.
all the parts. It's never going to get built. It's never going to get made. Um, and that's why I was so happy to see somebody had made that STL file.
Mhm.
So I think it's that. Yeah, it's that miniature. Well, that miniature, that thing.
Yeah, it's not really a miniature.
Yeah.
If you, well, actually, we discussed that a bit already, but if you could create, let's say, another one, non-existing model besides Abaddon, what would it be?
Ooh. I'm rather obsessed by Nasir Amit right
Oh,
now. The
oh,
Flesh
cool.
Terror
Mm.
but in the Scouring era, when he has that huge lumber. I don't know whether you've seen like the artwork for him. It's bonkers. He has this huge, snarling, ugly face, huge Indominus plate around him. And he has two power fists with cannons and underslung chain
Mm.
swords to them. The guy just looks quintessentially 40K. He looks batshit crazy.
Mm.
Another one I'd love to have made is the front cover of the second edition 40K artwork, the Blood Angel
Yeah,
shooting
with
down.
the power fist and yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Now, I do know there was a version that sculpt was made, but unfortunately
Yeah.
it's in fine cast. And I've never been able to find a good copy of that miniature. So to have a
Mm.
professional STL made of it where it's clean, clear, almost like preserved.
Mm.
Uh, it'd be that. Any others? There isn't. Bran Redmore probably
Mhm.
because there's no existing. Again, this is all like stuff I've been doing over the past 6 months that
Mm.
I thought like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if?
Yeah, sure.
Um, as far as like historical pieces of artwork converted over to miniatures, I'd love to do the original Black Templar Codex cover with that
Mhm.
marine coming over the top with
Yeah.
I think it was a Karl Kapinski piece,
Mhm.
but frame it as Sigismund.
Yeah.
And another piece of artwork, and Wilf and I have discussed this, the Marnius Calgar
Mhm.
artwork, again from something like fourth, fifth edition in
The
with
one.
his two power fists.
Oh, not
Yeah,
the one where he's sitting on the throne. Not
no,
this
no,
one.
no,
No.
not that, not that. No, it'd be the one where he's so like the battle scene around. It was the front cover of one of the
Ah,
codexes,
yeah.
and like he's on
Is
top, and he's
is it on
yeah,
the top, ultramarines below? Yeah.
yeah, it'd be that.
Yeah. I think it's on the rule book, on the rule book cover, maybe, or
Could
maybe
be,
the codex. Yeah,
yeah,
I can't remember. Yeah.
one of
Okay.
them. But If I had to have one, if I have to boil it down to one, it'd be Amit, because that's what I'm currently obsessed by.
Okay. Well, looking forward to that because that would be very cool to see that. Yeah. Um, we talked about the painting itself. Let's talk about a bit more about the commission painting. So, well, you told us a bit about that already, but more what's beyond the commission painting? For starters, what drove you towards commission painting?
Um, so a little bit of my work history. I got to university with a master's degree in English, and then the financial crisis hit. Bang, just killed my chances dead of getting any kind of job or long-term employment, doing anything, just garroted. And I spent a year very depressed, living in my parents' house, until I somehow managed to get a job for a wine warehouse. So this is Majestic, like amazing job. They give you like a very high level of training in that job. You have to undergo what's called a WSET exam, a wine spirits trust exam, where you're able to taste wine and be able to reasonably tell people where in the world it comes from, the grape variety and the year, and kind of roughly how much it should cost.
Okay.
It was an amazing job, but I think I was primarily hired because they were desperate and they needed people to lift and move around a lot of wine. And I'm not sure if you could tell, but I'm 6'4". I'm like I got wide shot. I'm a big guy, so I was very well suited for that job, drinking wine and moving wine around. But they like their managers or trainee managers to move around a lot. So I spent a year and a half in Cardiff, and then they wanted me to move to Rochester.
Oh, okay.
And I think if I wasn't involved in what then became my wife, if I wasn't involved in like a serious relationship, maybe I would have stuck with it. I remember on a lunch break as well, seeing Angron previewed, the Forge-World Angron preview. I was like, holy shit, what is this? I knew I didn't want the miniature, and it was £30. Like, oh my God, I won't be able to afford this. This is way too expensive. But I thought, I bet somebody will pay me to paint them for them. So that's the genesis. Because I kept my, there wasn't really that much to do in my evenings. I'd come home, it was very unsociable hours working. I'd come home tired. I'd do a little bit of hobby, upload my work onto Warseer, pick up the odd commission doing that. But it all came to a head when they wanted me to move to Rochester. My wife was a nurse. She is a nurse, but she had a proper job. And I decided, if I'm going to do something, if I'm going to try something, it has to be now when I haven't got a mortgage and I haven't got kids to look after. I could try something really stupid with my life. Just give it a whirl. Just try it. And I managed to catch it at the right time. Games Workshop had started to release something every week. Then, so I remember my first week as a professional miniature painter. Drove over to Cardiff to local Firestone Games. Well, local is about an hour away. Bought myself Dragon Ogres and Throg. I bought 3 copies of each. And I painted all of them by the Sunday evening. And I had the photographs taken, and they were on eBay for a week listing. So whoever won the auction, I'd send it off to. I'd write a message, hey, do you need any other things painted for that? And then the person underneath that who didn't quite win the auction, I'd offer them the other miniature. So that doubled up my sales. I was able to write, hey, do you need any commission work done? And then the third one, and so on. So that's where it started. And then after a while, I built a list of regular clients that I could reliably, but for about a year and a half, I was working for under minimum wage. I was just dipping into my savings. I was relying on the good graces of others. I was actually working outside in what I found out afterwards to be sort of like a dog shed. So this was in a rented accommodation, and we bought this place because they had this little out shed. Like, oh, this is perfect. I can put all my commission shit in here. I can airbrush in here. Brilliant. But it was actually built for dogs, and it was very chilly in there. There wasn't any kind. It had electricity. That's it. Didn't have any kind of heating. It had water running in there as well. And that's where it started. from those little origins, and I worked fanatically, frantically for 7-ish years, and then I was going to have a child for the first time, my firstborn, my first son, Dylan, and I realized, like, oh God, I can't work for the first month at least. And even, when I was taking a regular income, it wasn't like I was earning enough to really take a hit of a month. I needed to keep on working to pay off my expenses, the mortgage, keep food on the table. So that's when I launched the Patreon, where I was producing PDFs every single month on my painting process, recipes, how I went about things, and that just proved to be unbelievably successful. The first, because at the time they'd encourage you to put like milestones into your Patreon to encourage more people to come, and we hit all those in the first month.
Oh yeah,
just flew through it. So I was able to buy video equipment and produce video tutorials, and then it went up again. So I was able to reinvest in the business again, and then I was able to do online tuition, and that's when I started to not feel at ease, because you never feel comfortable working for yourself. You just never do. There's always that goblin in the back of your head. There's always that fear. But fast forward 10 years, and I make my own miniatures. I produce video tutorials every week, PDF tutorials every month. I do a couple of podcasts. I do online tuition for people. I've written a color theory book. This is like a long-suffering form of conversation I have with students. Like, I've written a color theory book that I need to edit and put together. I found a publisher. I have somebody ready and raring to go. It's just I need to make sure I haven't put a load of spelling mistakes in it. And I found out very early on that you need to have like a lot of different elements to your business. So if one starts to slack, another can pick up.
Exactly.
And this is where we are now, 10-ish years later.
But actually, I'm very happy for you because actually, no, obviously. And the thing is, I think that people need to understand that commission painting is just a business like one another. What you said about being able to have an income that will land every month is something that you would need in any other business. And then you have and so building your Patreon, etc., was absolutely a smart business move. And actually, if people subscribe to that, I bet that the quality is top notch. But actually, I work alone myself. I'm an independent consultant, so I totally feels. Oh, I totally get what it feels like. You say, oh yeah, I did. This month was very good, etc. But what about next month? And if next month isn't that good, what will I do, etc. So yeah, you're never at ease. But actually, the thing is, in my experience, you have to never stop experiencing and also just having fun at what you do, because that's about it. Earning money is cool, but having fun while doing so is way better than that. So yeah.
Yeah, you got to alloy the two as well. I remember I started the commission painting business when commission painting didn't have the best of reputations. It was mainly like seen as a bunch of like cowboys ripping each other off. I remember, oh God, there was one guy. I won't say his name. I don't want to get sued. But he was a really, really famous commission painter, big, taking on lots of commissions, like big personality. But then all of a sudden, just went blank. Nobody heard from him. I found out a couple of years afterwards that he'd become a local TV personality and fitness gym coach thing. But that left a lot of sour taste in people's mouths, how he just dropped all the work and left. And that wasn't an infrequent experience of people at that time. And I was thankful for my time at Majestic because they taught me how to run a business.
Yeah.
I was able to bring that same structure into commission painting and carry on from there. And I think a lot of people get into commission painting thinking it'll be like an easier way to earn a living. It's significantly harder. And you have to accept the trials and the risks. And if you're not willing to work for less than minimum wage for a couple of months, don't do it. Just get a regular job that can feed. And if you're willing to take the risk and you can expand it, the rewards are good. But even in my own case, even if I worked as hard as I did, I had the talent that I did, that I was able to do everything that I've done, I still needed that little stroke of luck. I still needed to be at that time when the internet was becoming a better source of hobby inspiration. I had to be there at the very inception of things like Facebook and Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. I don't like TikTok. But I had to then ride the wave of this influencer craze, which I don't regard myself as an influencer at all. But I was still able to ride that trend where you're starting to not only enjoy people's work, but understand the personalities that sit behind them, and you become attached to them as well. So I was able to create that bond with people. And like each of these steps comes with its own like element of luck, element of perseverance and hard work and hard-headedness as well.
Yeah. I don't think you can put it in a better way. So yeah, absolutely. Well, we discussed a bit about the issues that you can face in your business, but maybe can you tell us that was another question from my friend Pete. Can you mention the greatest commission that you did lately, and maybe one of the worst, or worse in the sense of very hard to get done?
Sure. So the greatest, you know what? Whenever the commission leaves the door, that's the greatest, because you get that sense of euphoria, like, oh, job well done. I think in terms of like execution, I think the Space Wolves are going to be really special. And I've been fortunate to work on really special projects. So the Sons of Horus, we dealt with before this. That was a very special project. The Dark Angels that we haven't previewed yet in the Sat9 box set, that was very special. I work with an amazingly enthusiastic Ultramarine player, all bespoke, every single unit. It felt like every single miniature, multiple parts, very keen eye for what he wanted translated onto the miniature. In terms of like single piece miniatures, again, it's always like the latest, like you're really, really happy with, but probably a Dark Angel, oh God, the Primarch, Lionel Johnson, because we mixed up the Lionel Johnson from the 40K and 30K. So we mixed those together, and that was a spectacular, that ended up really, really spectacular. Yeah, it's a bit of a trite answer, but like every single commission we do is the most special. But you do feel that way once it's done and it's out. You're swearing and cursing at it as you're doing it, and I think there's a healthy element to that. You get mad at the miniature, because if you don't get mad at it and you just like, oh, I just want this to fucking end, it will never stop. Because if you're like I'm having this problem with this guy. I've been painting him on and off for about 2 years because I love painting him so much, but that means he's not getting finished. As far as like the worst commission or the worst experience I've had, it was very early on, and thankfully, so I learned pretty quickly not to undercut other commission studios, because anyway, that comes with its own problems. But when I was in my early stages of commission painting, it was a Death Guard, Deathwing, Dark Angels. It was somebody I painted up. I'd listed Dark Angels on eBay, did the usual thing. Hey, can you get anything else painted? Yes, I'd like some Deathwing Terminators. Paint up the Deathwing Terminators, and I always send photographs. I always send the biggest, most HD photographs I could possibly get to make sure that the client understands what they're getting. I don't want any gotcha moments, okay? signed off on the work. It was all okay until about a week afterwards. I got like, I'm really disappointed with these. They aren't what I expected at all. And like I tried to get, okay, what's up with them? What's wrong?
Mm.
What can I do? And he said that the bone white armor that I'd used on the Terminators weren't like canonically correct, or weren't correct, because his friend had told him, and he used this phrase, and his friend had told him that they should be more yellow, like more that yellowish bone white. Now, I come from a time when Deathwing are more white rather than bone white. I don't like the off yellow that the heavier metal student turned it into in like the 2000s to like 2015.
Yeah.
It's gone a lot more bone white since then. And I explained to him, like, okay, this is why I've done this. I sent through reference images to him, like, okay, this is why I've done it. I didn't hear back from him, so I'm not sure whether his friend agreed with that, or like he's happy with the job from that. I don't know, but I mean, that taught me the communication between client and artist is so important. That he thought he was getting something that didn't match his expectations. So,
if I may say so, it didn't. If I may say so, in that case, it didn't match his friend expectations.
I think I get that impression. Yeah, I think so. Because he didn't say, when I sent him the images, he didn't say anything. I was like, oh, these are too white, bro, sort it out. I think it's what the influence of his friend saying he didn't like them. Which is fair. That's why when we do commissions now, we send regular updates, and we're so like clearly communicative with students. With clients, to make sure I understand what your expectations are of this project, and to match and hopefully surpass them. Because that's another uncomfortable truth with taking on clients, is that sometimes they'll ask for something and they don't really know what they want.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to show them something, because I'm far more experienced. I'm far better painter in most cases than they are, and I have a lot more reference and visual imagery to it. So when we have the consultation, we go through the expectations, and I'm normally able to understand what they want rather than what they're asking for. And then I haven't had any issues so far doing that, taking that approach. Minor changes here, like, I don't like that red shoulder pad changing, things like that, but nothing like constructive, nothing at the base level. So far, touch wood, so far.
Cool. So you paint a lot of minis.
Yes.
So 2 questions in one. How do you cope with the army painting? And once you are done with your professional day, do you still have enough motivation to paint your own miniatures?
So number one, how do I deal with armies? That's a really, really simple answer. You get people around you can rely on. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to. Scaling is an issue with commission businesses. Being able to find reliable people who could paint in your style to a very high standard. They're rarer than hen's teeth. So I have a couple of artists alongside me who are exceptional at that. So when it comes to bulk work being provided in a reasonable amount of time, unlike other commission businesses or like freelancers, we are able to do that and take on larger armies to a much higher degree of skill. And then I can come in at the end, a bit like a chef at a restaurant.
That's what I was about to do the analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So chef isn't cooking every single, but he comes in the end to make sure the quality is consistent and perfect. And if he needs to do anything, he can. So that's where I come in. So I do mainly deal with characters. I do deal with infantry as well, the odd unit here and there, especially for like tutorials, because people don't want to just be battered over the head with high quality, high level painting. Because high level painting, it's demanding. And some of the video processes we go through are demanding on you. And I make no apology for that. But sometimes you just want a quick and easy recipe. Bash out this miniature in an hour. Great. So it's a nice mix between infantry, characters, and everything in between for the tuition. And that's how I like to operate as well. I don't like solely painting higher level / competition pieces, it drains my batteries. I like being able to come to infantry and just sticking to a reliable recipe and bashing things out and like fire and forget almost. Sorry, what was the second part of your question?
And do you have still some motivation to paint your own miniatures?
Yeah. I'm a little bit cheeky there. So say if I'm painting a lot of black miniatures and I happen to have some black miniatures, well, sometimes I'll incorporate them into my working day just to keep that fresh on. But I do have a rule that for every commission piece that I paint, the next thing I paint is for myself.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Just to keep my enthusiasm. I mean, I don't always keep to that rule. I mean, at the moment, because I'm doing a lot of like chapter masters, I don't really feel like I need that break. Because I'm dealing with Lysander and then Logan Grimnar. They're two very different pieces, so they can tickle me in different ways. But when it comes to the end of Grimnar, I'm already starting to feel like I'll need to do something for myself. But yeah, that's just a way of keeping my enthusiasm going. Producing interesting works for the Patreon for online as a showcase, and just keeping myself engaged. So those are just some of the two of the coping mechanisms that I use.
Right. Do you have any plans for this new year about, I mean, your business, I don't know, new services or anything that you would like to share?
So we have a painter coming here full time, Lawrence, who will be sat opposite me, and I get to hurl a load of abuse at him during the day, and hopefully he'll give it back as much. Well, I know he does as well. He's a bugger. He's an absolute bugger. So yeah, like having another artist here all the time, I think is going to be important to not only facilitate his improvement as a miniature painter, but also to do more with this studio I have around me, because it's a physical location. And so far, I don't feel like I'm exploiting it as much as I could. So I'd love to generate more of like a local community here, maybe opening every like Thursday, Wednesday evening for people to come to paint and have some kind of like expert painter on hand to field any questions. That would be something I'd love to do. Unfortunately, I can't do it here because I already see so little of my family as it is. I can't spend another evening dedicated to that. So I'm traveling to Adepticon in a couple of months to do teaching over there. There's another event at the end of the year. I don't think I'll be going to this year. So it might open up a schedule at the end of the year to again go abroad and do like a tuition date abroad. But things I really want to get accomplished, I don't want to say it because I've said it for the past 3 years, is get this color theory book done. Like actually having a book printed and done and dusted and out and in people's hands and having something physical and tangible, I think is going to be a really cool rush for me. So it's do more things with this physical location that I have. Hopefully develop and mentor a local community of painters, and then I really hope I'll be able to get this color theory book over the line. So those are like the 3 big things I want to take off my bucket list this year.
Well, that's pretty cool projects, all 3 of those, and well, best of luck with those. I hope you'll manage to get at least one done. So besides the traditional commission painting business, so you talked a bit about it, but you are also doing a lot of tuition and painting classes. The next one being about this guy, if I'm correct.
Yes, yeah.
And so, how did you got involved with organizing painting classes?
It's really a consequence of what other studios were doing, what other people were doing. I saw that they were running classes. I thought, oh, that seems like fun. I was always kept getting asked like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And online tuition, video tutorials can take you so far.
Yeah.
But then having somebody in person or teaching you in person is just a very different feel to it. And since COVID, I think there is more appreciation of like in-person events more than ever. So having a venue and having the ability to host these kind of classes, I think is important.
Mm. Right. But you can be a great painter, but you without having any pedagogical skills or teaching skills.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
how did you
yeah.
prepare yourself for this role of teaching people?
Um, it's when I tried to learn Italian. I was a kid trying to learn Italian. Nothing was working. And there was a teacher out there with this experimental way where you sit in the room, one person, two people who can't speak the language, and he'd teach you on the fly. And he'd tell you very basic phrases
Hmm.
that then you would say to the other person, and they'd say it back to you. So you weren't writing anything down. You weren't going through that cognitive
Yeah.
dissonance of the learning process. You were developing it as you were doing it.
Mm.
Um, and that style of teaching stuck with me because there's as an only child, again, keep going back to this. I wasn't very good at mathematics, so my father would do my mathematics homework, and since I know from then never been my strong suit. But art is something I'd always been keenly interested in, and even when I was doing it badly, I still kept doing it. So I'm a big believer in that. I know how to paint, you don't. So it's very much like hand-on, you focused instruction,
Mhm.
going through the minutiae of, say, like a brush stroke or color selection or recipe choice. I guess my methodology of teaching is analyzing who you are and then sort of like digging that aspect out of you that made me do what I'm doing over and over again.
Mm.
Of course, it really helps seeing how other people teach and how other people deliver a course or a lesson. So being exposed to things, classes like an Adepticon,
Mm.
or I remember I took a heavy weathering class, which again, amazingly taught, but badly structured. So I
Mm.
was able to take that away from it. Um, and like big takeaway is developing structure in the courses. So at Nova last year, for example, I did hear a couple of reports of people turning up to courses, and it's more like a meet and greet in the end. Like there wasn't in a 2 hour class. No, it wasn't a Nova, it was a Defcon. In a 2 hour class, there was a demonstration after 20 minutes, and then that was it. It was given over to the
Ah,
students.
yeah. Mm.
It didn't really fulfill the 2 hours. So being able to build a lesson plan in the time that you have, or just building lists, building plans in general, fed into my style and delivery of teaching. And I guess being enthusiastic about the topic that you're teaching, that translates across and it makes you enthused for it as well. So those are, I guess, like a jumble of ideas when it
No,
comes to my own methodology of teaching.
but the one thing is that you're lucky with is that people who are going to these lessons and teachings, they are willing to go there. I mean,
Mm.
because myself, I do quite a lot of professional training for other people, but often those people they go to those trainings because they have no choice because they have to do it every year.
Right. Yes.
So
Yeah.
teaching to people who don't want to be there when
Mm.
you are teaching them something, yeah, it's a bit pain in it's
It's weird you say that. At Nova last year, this is the first time I run this course, and I was a little bit afraid how it would come across. It's a Breaking Bad, so it's called "I Am the One Who Knocks," and it teaches you about color theory and color choice
Mhm.
because that show is famous for how well structured it is, not only in terms of the storyline but the color
Yeah.
relationships
Mm.
attached to each character and how that color relationship relates to other people. Um, so like famously, and telling people about that and then translating it into a miniature. There was a guy at the back of the class who'd been roped in with his other friends to take it. He wasn't really interested in taking the class or seeing
Mm.
me. He was there because his friends are taking it,
Mm.
and you could kind of see like he wasn't taking it like immensely seriously, But that was okay because he was engaging in it in his own way and having fun with it.
Yeah.
And some of the commentary he came up with was great. Even those people who may not be like fully engaged in it, I feel like I could prod some kind of reaction out of.
So what is the most rewarding? Well, I mean, besides getting paid for doing your job, but what is the most rewarding out of those
Rewarding
classes,
aspect of
courses?
my job. The most rewarding aspect of my job, I guess, is just be able to make a living doing what I love. And you can't confuse that with the phrase, "Oh, if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life." That's utterly bullshit. That's false. I work hard every single day, and it fucking hurts sometimes. When you don't want to come in. So that's an absolute lie. You need to treat any business as a business and work very hard. In terms of like teaching or what, like when somebody gets something you're trying to teach them and it just clicks, that's a really nice aspect to it. When something that you've concocted, pitched, it hits home, it lands. That gotcha moment, like, oh, I understand now. And like a lot of the painters I teach are on Instagram and on social media. When I taught them something, and then they keep doing it over and over again, it almost becomes like a signature of what they are and who they are. Yeah, that's lovely to see. That's really nice to see.
Yeah, cool. So we're done with the interview globally. I just have a few questions, which are rather stupid, but you are going to answer it anyway.
Sure.
Would you rather go on a trip in a warp with Erebus or Engron?
Erebus. I feel like I have a higher, greater chance of maybe confusing him with liturgical rhetoric than Angron, who would just straight up eat me.
Yeah, no chance to distract Engron at all. Yeah, right.
Yeah. If nothing else, I'm sure Erebus has like a really good library you could look at.
Sure.
And I think if you were sycophantic enough to him, he'd be so deluded as to not attack you.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he likes himself very much, indeed.
Yeah.
Did you ever wash your brush in your coffee, tea, beverage?
I've never had that experience. I've washed in. So the dumbest thing I've done is when I started using oil paints for the fit. I don't lick my brushes anymore because of this. Using oil paints, just did it automatically, bang, in your mouth. My entire mouth went numb. So yeah, I don't lick my brush anymore because of that. But no, I've never done that because whenever I've painted, I've always, even as a kid, like I haven't had that kind of like stuff around me. And when I paint, I'm very like focused on what I paint. So I don't have like a lot of coffee and like shit around me. So I've never had that experience.
Right. Is there a specific kind of sport, physical activity that you enjoy?
I used to love playing five-a-side football, but it came to the end of a game, and I was on my own. I did like a little twist, showing off. I'm always a bit of a peacock. I was showing off, and I hyperextended my knee, and I broke my knee doing this. So I was on my own. End of the game. I did a little flick trick, fell over, just with a chorus of laughter around me because people. Because I'd just done something really stupid and stacked it. But I was in just such I was seeing white flashes of light behind my eyes, and I had to cover my face, just the agony I was in. Yeah, I used to love playing five, but I just can't do it anymore. I'm not that physical. I like fighting my boys. I guess that's very physical. Like the two of them, like roughing them up, throwing them around. For Christmas, I bought these huge pair of like boxing gloves. Oh God, I bought this huge boxing glove for Christmas, and they bought boxing. So a couple of nights ago, we were fighting with them, and I punched my eldest in the head. I was teaching him like low high, so punching low for him to go down. Then trying to teach him a 7-year-old how to fight really. But I did that trick, and then I punched him in the head, and he had like this little mark left over.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and the next day after school, he told me, "Oh, I told my teacher. My
Oh,
teacher asked about the mark on my
yeah.
face. I tell her, oh, my daddy punched me. Okay, what else do you qualify? Do you tell her? Yeah, he was wearing a boxing glove and he hit me. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm expecting a letter from the school over that.
Yeah,
So
expect a call from the social services. Yeah.
social services, yeah, for
Mm.
hitting my children. Great.
Oh my. Oh, I'm sorry for laughing about that. Obviously, we don't endorse
No,
beating kids at all. But yeah,
no. Lil Legend does not endorse beating children.
you can you can add that on the website.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, so a bit like your favorite color or model, etc. Do you have a favorite combo, food and drink combo?
Oh, I'm a sucker for pizza. I can't eat it that much anymore because I mean I'm coming to like that stage in my life where I have to make conscious food decisions. Like, oh, I might feel a bit bloated if I eat that now. So it's life turns grey after when you come to 40. But I am an absolute sucker for like a really hot pizza with a bottle of like Barolo or anything Italian with it. Um, but recently, just steak. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
That seems to be like the thing I eat the most, like steak and red meat. Because I don't have to worry. You don't have to go through that conversation with your partner or your wife or significant other. What do you want to eat tonight? No, I buy a load of steaks for the week or red meat. That's always the backup. If she wants something else, great, we can get something else. But steak, I tend to like a good ribeye steak, but that does tend to get a bit rich after a couple of days. Yeah, steak, any kind of red meat. I keep coming back to again and again and again.
right. And do you do anything else while you are hobbying? Like, I don't know, listening to music, podcast, chatting to
Yeah,
people.
I listen to a radio show over here called Talk Sport. It's mainly just people arguing about the dumbest of shit. Mainly football. I'm not so interested in watching football. I like the drama and the storyline around it. And when I'm here on my own, it's fun to get angry about things that don't matter
Mm,
because you flick on the news and there's a lot of things not only to be angry about but scared about.
yeah.
And just like the nervous exhaustion of it, I can't deal with. Recently, I mean, I won't say her name, but because if I say she's going to turn on and argue with me. It has like a playlist like Linkin Park and Papa Roach, the things I used to listen to as a kid. But I was watching an Instagram reel of divorced dad rock, and it's all the same music I listen to during the day. It's a great soundtrack, but I found I was getting a little bit. It was the same songs over and over and over
Mm.
again. And I was getting a bit depressed listening to them, so I started listening to classical music in the background. So that's my latest squeeze. So it veers very sharply from
Mm.
listening to people argue about whether Michael Carrick's the right man to take Man United forward to like Beethoven. So it's quite an eclectic mix.
But I mean, your brain might, I mean, your brain has to love that diversity of
I
external
think so. Yeah.
stimulations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Just a quick word for this Son of Horus. I can't remember if
Oh,
he's a special character or what, because
Thibaut Marr.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's Tibalt. Yeah, yeah, with his badass sword,
The,
etc. Yeah.
is the either or the or.
Yeah, and I mean, I just picked that mini because of the face, obviously, and
Yeah.
uh, there's something that can't I can't really shake about it because when I look at it, I think it's beautiful, and then I look at it a bit more carefully, and I have been telling myself, yeah, that doesn't look difficult to do. You can do that.
Good.
So
Yeah.
I actually tried. Well, it's very difficult to do, actually.
After this, I'll send you. So it won't be this face, but I'll send you the tutorial this is based on.
Okay.
So you could buy yourself a set of paints called the Malefic Flesh set from Vallejo.
Okay.
It's amazing for doing like zombies, vampiric. Leave all this in as well. Leave all this in the show. Vampiric, like any undead kind of skin tones that you
Mm.
do is so I'm using it on everything right now. So this guy, that that's the set I used
Ah, okay.
to do this guy's face,
Mm. Yeah, with a very like yeah,
and
cold.
then it also helps doing Logan Grimnar because he's an old man.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, a phenomenal set of paints for. I mean, a lot of the people that I paint are ugly, bald men murdering each other in the dark, and it's perfect. It's a perfect paint set for that.
Right. So we are done with the questions. Just a few last pick of some minis to enjoy.
Yeah,
So those are the Blood Angels with
yeah,
a lot of drop pods also.
yeah.
Uh, and
Dreadnought drop pod as well.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's very cool to see such an extensive army because I don't
Mm.
know how much point it represents, but I think I guess between yeah maybe 5, 6 thousand points maybe.
I have
Uh,
no idea. I've no
but
idea.
anyway, it's but painted to that standard,
Mm.
that's amazing. Because
Yeah.
I mean, we often see people in well, myself, I have quite a big collection of models, but even my favorite army isn't close to that level of painting throughout the army, and
Mm.
so such a force of Blood Angels, because who doesn't love the Blood Angels? No, it's an amazing sight to see, and yeah, that's very
Yeah,
rare.
so these guys, I did a video for these for the Patreon over Christmas, kind of going through the entire history from
Ah,
the very first visual images that I wanted to represent in it. The original, so when I start in the army, I make a few notes and it becomes like a design dossier.
mm,
So if I come back a few years afterwards, I
yeah.
know I can refresh myself.
Mm,
It goes through the first units, the first paint schemes. It goes through the tournaments it went to, and the rather mercantile reason why I chose Blood Angels
mm.
to do in the Heresy.
Yeah, that's a cool memento of yeah, of
Yeah.
an army's life. Yeah. And just to conclude, so some minis I picked from your profile. So obviously you are not only painting Heresy miniatures, you can
Mhm.
paint basically any miniatures people want you to paint
Yeah.
for them.
Mhm.
So I just yeah, I chose Android hard, but the full model, because once again, because of the face and the black armor is
Yeah.
actually super cool too.
Beaten up.
Soul Tarvitz, because wow, I like that guy, and yeah, he's just yeah, he's a cool character. And last but not least, a Bretonian knight
Mhm.
on a Pegasus, just as a how do you say that? A testimony, no, a proof that you are not
Mhm.
painting only sci-fi miniatures, but also
Yeah.
anything else. Thank you so much for your time. It's been an amazing interview, and there's so much to take from it. I mean, from the painting to the business, etc.
Mhm.
From your to your passion for the law. It was I had a very great time. So if obviously you would like your miniatures painted by Lil Legend Studio, feel free to contact Myles through so Instagram, the website, Patreon, maybe no, yeah, from the website
Yeah.
and Patreon. Subscribe to his socials and so Patreon, and I'll be adding all the links in the description of the video. And if you ever enjoyed this video, like the others, feel free to drop a like and subscribe to the channel because I hope to be doing a lot more of those interviews this year. And thank you for watching. Do you have a last comment or?
Yeah. So you asked me right before we started recording this where the name Lil Legend came from.
Oh
So we'll
yeah,
end with
yeah.
that.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a really boring story. It's a really great way to really bring the temperature of the room down. When I was creating an eBay name to sell miniatures, whatever I typed in wouldn't work. So I came up with the stupidest name I could think of: Lil Lizzy Loser 2008. That worked great. And then when I started gaining a bit of notoriety, well, I need to shorten that. I need a punchy name. Little Loser. I'm going to call myself Little Loser. And you can find my original tagline on my original website, Little Loser. But then as I started to like really grow and like people started to recognize, like, oh God, perhaps calling myself a loser isn't the best.
No.
It isn't the most like shrewd of business moves. So I thought, oh, I'm painting legends, like little legends, so Little Legend. And if you know anything about the Welsh, we love just peppering any word with lots of L's in them. So it fit everything. It fit the name. It was eBay friendly, lots of L's, perfect.
Yeah. It was ticking
Ticking all
all
those
the
boxes.
boxes. Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Well, I hope you had a great time too, and
Yeah, it was awesome.
I'll be
Any
looking
opportunity to talk about myself, I'll take. No, thank you.
But thankfully, you didn't only talk about yourself, but also a lot about the hobby and the community. So that was very super cool. Bye, everyone. See you next time.